Hey, what's up guys? My name is Moda and welcome back to the Mining Stacker YouTube channel. So today's video is a big update we had been waiting for. HIP 113 voting has come to a close. It has passed, meaning Wi-Fi rewards will double. So pretty big news. We're going to talk about the effects there. And also it does look like there is a new partnership. It looks like there is another offload carrier. We do have the details regarding that. We don't have the official HR publications, but we could put two and two together. We'll talk about what we found and some other potential pretty big news, right? So that sounds good, guys. Stay tuned. Let's get to this thing. So HIP 113 did come to a close. It did officially pass. So it didn't just win the vote, but it also met the threshold of going over 67%. So it is going to go into effect in about 30 days from now. So in case you guys don't remember, we'll do a quick little refresher. We're just going to talk about the rewards because that's what we're concerned with. So essentially, it's shifting the rewards pool from CBRS to Wi-Fi. So if you have a Wi-Fi unit, considering getting a Wi-Fi unit, bullish. If you have a CBRS unit, you're probably pissed, understandably. Okay, so CBRS radios are on average going to go down about 42%, while Wi-Fi radios are going to go up 130%. Pretty drastic difference. So this is one of those things. I know I've been getting a lot of questions like, oh man, I saw the earnings on a 436. This is why we're kind of saying wait for this, wait for these oracles from the other HIP to pass and go through. That way you can get a real ballpark figure because everything is still drastically changing. Okay, especially after this most recent full fall oracle that affected a lot of people. And then this on top of it. So like the CBRS units that were out in the middle of nowhere, getting hit super hard. So by the time this thing takes effect, it's probably making a tiny fraction of what it once was, right? So different sides to the argument. Depends on what you're looking at. The overall benefit of the network, this is beneficial. And the reason they wanted to push this thing so bad, we'll talk about those partnerships here in a moment. Okay, so the overall news, you can go through the HIPs. Everybody's going to have their agreements, disagreements. But at the end of the day, Wi-Fi is the only thing that can offload data currently, and that's what these deals are based on, to be an offload service, an offload carrier for a lot of these partnerships, these deals, these service providers, these other carriers. Okay, that is essentially the main goal here. Okay, so I know this was a contentious vote and I know it does suck, but again, this is something that they have been mentioning. This is the direction they've been pivoting in. Okay, they've made it loud and clear. As a matter of fact, they even voted on this one, which they have a pretty good stake. Not as much as I thought. I think Capcom was saying that, or Amir Helium was saying it's about 6% of the total supply. Still a big chunk, right? But here we go. So overall, how is it going to affect me? How is it going to affect a lot of us? Essentially, it's going to double. Realistically, the estimate has it about 130%. But it's not going to be exact and it's not going to be fixed. Keep in mind that it's pretty much for you miners, GPU, ASIC miners, you kind of know the relationship with the hash rate and difficulty. It's kind of the same concept here. As more units come online, we're all taking a slice of that pie and it's going to get smaller and smaller. So even though currently as is, it'd be 130%, potentially by the time this thing takes place, by the time other people ordering, because again, this is something big that people were waiting for. So a lot of people are going to most likely order more of these units. More of these are going to get deployed, meaning your yield, your amount is going to go down. Okay, so I'm ballparking it on being half. And potentially, depending on how many units become available, it can be even back to where it is currently now. So it may double, but in like 60 days, it may be back down to where it was, just depending on how many more units get deployed. Okay, so you have to go in with that understanding, especially if you're not in an extremely ideal location, which for example, mine is not. Mine's more in a residential area. Yes, it does get some of those footfall oracle locations, but realistically, it's not an ideal situation. Okay, but I'm making it work and it still is fairly decent earnings. You know my thoughts and opinions on it. Again, even when we did the ballparks, like it's already made a crap ton. I'm more than happy with what it's made, even if it goes down to zero, just for the utility factor of being able to have all that coverage on my entire property. For example, down here in Florida, a lot of us do go outside a lot. We do have a huge backyard, so that way I can be all the way out, doing yard work, doing whatever, hanging out. And I actually have coverage out there because my actual cell phone coverage, I do have T-Mobile and I have Helium Mobile. It is fairly spotty. So it is an extreme benefit, especially if you're an outdoors person Your neighbors are outdoors people. Again, this community is very outdoors. A lot of people outside, always running, jogging, biking, etc. Okay, so for me, I like the use case. Okay, so as far as my units go, currently, even after the footfall oracle, everything going on between the 2 outdoors and the 1 indoor, which again, the indoor doesn't make a whole lot. It's mainly the outdoors that do the bulk of it. It's still earning about 3,800 mobile a day at its current price, which has been tanking because of the market. Still 11 bucks a day. Okay, and again, these things paid themselves off quite a ways ago. Both of them paid themselves off within a month. So it's all gravy. Again, even if it went down to freaking 2 bucks a day, even if it went down to $1 a day, it's still worthwhile just for the use case for me personally, right? Everybody has their own different things, but it's still earning well. So essentially it can double that. It's going to go back into the $20 a day range, which is extremely good for what it is, and considering that I'm not necessarily in an ideal location. Okay. So as we look at the map, so the Helium Planner Map is still not going to be fully updated. It's still not going to take into account the footfall oracle, which is one of the main things. Okay, so I'm going to take away my big old head so you can see the toggle down here. So if you're considering getting one, when you fill out the Helium Planner, the amount of mobile you're supposed to earn is not going to be accurate because it's not going to reflect everything. Okay, if you're considering getting one though, you can kind of get a ballpark to see what kind of coverage your radio would get, right? You can look at it, you can kind of get an idea of what it's going to do before you are to get one, right? That way you can kind of see if it's worth it. You can kind of get an idea. At bare minimum though, you need to be in an urban area. So when you have the urbanization toggle, make sure you are at least in an urban area. For example, I'm down in the Tampa area. So here, as long as you're within the green, you're going to be fine. If you're on the middle of nowhere, you're going to hit super hard. So now that it's one catalyst, that's not everything. For example, for me, the biggest thing is actually hitting some of these footfall oracles, which are going to be mainly tied down to more business-centric areas. For example, here, that's why you can see a lot of them are on these main roads. Why? Because that's where businesses are. And that's kind of where they want these things to be placed. Those are the most ideal locations. For example, if you're in the middle of a neighborhood, let's say you were right smack in the middle here, you're not really going to get any of those oracles at all, right? Specifically the footfall oracle. That's mainly what you want to hit. Ideally, you'd want to be, let's say if you were over here though, in this neighborhood, if you were here and you're have it in this direction over here, it'd probably do extremely well. Okay, so again, just depending on your area, depending on where you are, you can get a kind of a ballpark. But again, even in my area, just for what it is, the amount of hexes I cover, it still does earn fairly well. And that's with barely hitting any of these actual footfall hexes. I'm only hitting one of them, the main guy's hitting about 4 of them, and overall I think it's like 43 hexes that it covers, and then the other one, not so much. It's covering about 2, it's like 20 something, right? But even with that, it's earning that amount, which I'm happy with. But this is going to give you an idea. Realistically, if you're still on the fence, wait another 30 days when these things take into effect, right? Mainly this footfall oracle, because then at that point, it'll give you a much better idea, and then you can essentially double it, because this will take effect sometime around May 10th. They said about 30 days from now, right? So pretty big update there. Just consider those things. And again, if you were interested in getting a CBRS radio, take these things into consideration, because although they are losing 42%, depending on your area, it can still be beneficial though, especially you guys down in like the Miami area with all these boosted locations. If you're able to hit any of those boosted hexes, it can still definitely 100% be worthwhile. Okay, so it just depends on your thing. For me, I personally wouldn't go that route just because it's going to constantly change. Okay, we don't really know what's going to happen exactly. Anything can continue to go on. It can get even more of aggressive of a cut. Who knows? It just depends on what's happening with the network and what's going on. Okay, because a lot of the action, that's why all these things are changing, because whatever's happening, whatever deals are being made, that's what's going to dictate everything. Even like boosted locations, as these service providers come on, maybe they provide some of them. They're currently all in Miami, but maybe they want to target certain locations, and maybe they add more boosted locations to those areas where they want coverage. Okay. So again, just to sum it up, Wi-Fi units, whether it's an indoor or outdoor, is going to go up about double, 130%. Most likely going to be about double by the time we get it. Just depends on how many units they sell, because again, these things are still available. We don't know how many units they have, how many are in stock, how many are allocated, etc., etc. but most likely a lot of people will be purchasing these now because of this HIP. Okay, so keep those things into consideration. The other big bit of news, this is pretty freaking big. It's not official, but all the hints are there. So if you guys are on Discord or on Twitter, if you follow Amir Helium, who is Capcom on Discord, by the way, he posted this yesterday. So you can put two and two together. They are testing a new service provider, right? A new offload partner, and that's with AT&T, just like XNet, right? So it's a pretty big deal. And this is not, it's currently in its testing phase, but it looks like the deal is done. A few people had asked, like, oh, is this just a test thing, or is there a deal in place? And it looks like there is a deal in place. So they are currently getting it all situated. I'm sure they want to get it 100% before they make the official announcement and it goes live, which seems like it's going to be imminent. Okay, the other big bit of news is that it looks like there are more deals that are currently ongoing. So whether they come to fruition or not, we'll see, but they're working on one or two more currently. So pretty big news, pretty big deal. When they do their PR release, I'm sure we'll see some price action. There was some yesterday. If you guys were curious why it was kind of going up, it's most likely because of this. For people following the Discord, following those channels, are kind of saying like, oh, this is going to be a good little opportunity to make a quick buck for whenever they do officially announce this thing, because I'm sure it'll be a pretty big deal. They're pretty good about it, just like with that Mexico deal. It was put out there pretty well, did cause some pretty good price action, right? So we may see something similar. So overall, network wise, things are going good. They are looking good. Obviously, if you're a CBRS owner, I get it. I understand the frustration, especially if you got in later. But again, like we had been speculating, like we've been talking about, and how they've been talking about it, they've made it crystal clear that this was going to be the pivot. This is where the current deals are to be made, and this is just the way it's going. Okay, so another big bit of news is that they did hit another pretty big milestone with the amount of Helium Mobile subscribers. They are at 80,000, right? So pretty impressive numbers there. It continues to go up. So that's why those discovery mapping rewards are continually going down, because again, it's the same concept. As more people come in and subscribe, the smaller your slice of the pie is going to be. Okay, and it's just going to continue to go down. And it was nice in the beginning, right? If you got into the beta back here, when there was only like 1,000 of us, right? And we're getting like 8,000 freaking mobile a day. Super nice for those first few months. But overall, things are looking good, guys, as far as like the actual network goes. And I get it. Again, I fully get it. Every time I do these videos, get a bunch of hate videos, and I get it. I understand a lot of people got burned by Helium in the past. But if you're letting your emotions dictate your financial decisions, you're going to get wrecked in this bull market. At the end of the day, even if you hate mobile, or Helium in general, this has been a very easy opportunity to make money if that's what you're into, right? Which is what I'm into. I like making money. I like making easy money, which is why I got one. I didn't let people's opinions, people's emotions affect anything. When I do these things, I run numbers, see if it makes sense, and I go in. Oh, I got burned before, so-and-so. If that's how your thing's going to be, then good luck, right? That's all I'm going to touch on that, but I'm not downplaying anything. I know a lot of people did get burned. I get it. But again, this is one of those things where you have to be active in what's going on, see where the trends are, see what's happening before you make that formal decision. Fortunately, a lot of you guys who did get in the previous couple months, again, all the signs have been on the wall for quite a while, and that's a big reason why I never even got one of the CBRS radios. Because it was just too much, like, I don't know where it's going, it feels kind of iffy. But then when I saw them pivoting towards Wi-Fi, pretty much making it crystal clear, as soon as they were released, I got one of each. Okay, so to each their own. I understand, I get it, I'm going to continue to get those hate comments. I see you, right? At the end of the day, though, this channel is about making money. We have made extremely good money on that investment. Turned that $1,200 investment to like well over $5K, especially between this and the subscription model. So I get it. People want to let their emotions dictate their money-making potential, and if that's the case, then so be it, right? It's totally up to you. This is not like, oh, do this. I don't get anything from this. I'm not a shill for Helium. I talk about them a lot because it's good money making potential. And I do actually like the network. I do like the fact, I find it fascinating that I can freaking put essentially a mini cell tower on my roof and get paid for it. Like, it's such a fascinating, cool concept. So to each their own. Just giving you that update, guys. Let me know what you guys think. For you guys who did get Wi-Fi units, have you been kind of on the fence? Are you thinking about jumping in? Are you not? Has it been working? Has it not been working? Let me know in the comments. All 7 of you guys. Let me know what it's like, guys. Let me know what you are feeling. Please comment, like, and subscribe, guys. Thank you for watching, and I am out.